Hello, welcome to the Pint Patter podcast where our patter is piss, but our pints aren't. To introduce ourselves, I'm Caden and I'm joined by my co-host Dino.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. It's been quite a while, actually.
Yeah, a long time since I said that.
Oh god, I think the last episode was 27th of March, and as we're
Christ.
recording this, we're in October the 7th to be precise.
To be October.
Yeah, god, what's happened?
A lot has happened.
Kind of got caught up in a lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were at like a pace of what? Initially one every week,
And
then once every 2 weeks, and then it just kind of
took a break. It was just me wrapping up with college as well, and we were still in lockdown, so mental health wasn't at the best of situations either. But here we are now. Whether or not lockdown being eased or even like stopped at all was a good decision. Here we are with it gone.
Yes.
You're back to pretty much almost a normality of life. Still got to wear masks, of course, in supermarkets and indoors, unless you're not, you're dancing or eating.
Yeah, dancing, eating, drinking.
That applies to supermarkets. If you just dance in the middle of the supermarket, you can take your mask off.
Just boogie down the aisle.
Boogie down the aisle.
Can't complain, can they? But it is quite surreal actually, especially pubs. I think when we stopped recording there, it was like beer gardens had just opened up.
Yeah.
And then since then it's just slowly progressed where it's like, right, cool, you can drink inside now. But obviously still go in the track and trace. That's still a thing.
Oh yeah.
And it was like only stayed open until 10, and now it's just usual times.
Pretty much, yeah.
Social distancing isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Quite surreal.
Well, there's still the 1 meter rule in place for a lot of places.
Yeah.
But
I think most people won't be bothering, to be fair.
we've got that COVID passport thing as well.
Yes,
that's just been active like what, last week.
Start of October. It's for like big events and stuff like that.
There's nightclubs as well.
Yeah.
Like even pubs. I think, my understanding, even like normal pubs will be counted as nightclubs after 12, or is it 1 o'clock? I think it's 1 o'clock. They'll count as nightclubs. So you'll have to, like, say Johnny Fox isn't like a nightclub. It's more of a pub, isn't it?
Yeah.
That will be counted.
Live music.
Even if they weren't doing live music.
Yeah.
It would still be counted. It was just a time frame thing. Wow.
Yeah, God, it's surreal. I think it was like a couple weeks back, a month or so back. It was there was Alan Fitzpatrick at Ironworks, and to get into that, you had to have like a proof of test, a negative test, rather than like the passport. And going into that and seeing like the place absolutely packed, it was mad. Because it had been absolutely so long. That's one thing I'm absolutely buzzing is back, just gigs and stuff like that. I mean, a few people went down to Glasgow to see Bring Me the Horizon. Absolutely mental.
Can imagine.
Absolutely mental. Packed in like sardines. Ended up coming away with a cold.
Most you did.
Yeah. So many people can get colds at the moment, actually.
It's that time of year, though.
What else?
Been
gaming.
Aye.
That's something I kind of dropped over time. since being able to get out a lot more. I haven't been playing too much games. I think the last thing I was playing mostly was just a Rocket League.
Yeah.
The odd occasional bit of like COD or something. Nah, I've been enjoying getting out and been skateboarding a lot more as the past like couple weeks. It's been like pool and darts, so very nice.
That sounds good.
I almost forgot
What?
my tinny,
Oh,
my episodical tinny. See if you can hear this. Ooh.
tinny or what?
It is an iron brew.
A nice Scottish drink.
Yeah, nice.
I say nice.
Like,
I'm being generous. I'm not a fan of iron brew.
you're not, are you?
No, I don't mind it. Just not a fan of that.
If you got given it, you would drink it, but you wouldn't pick it out.
Well, if I was given a sugar one, I still wouldn't drink it. But if I was given like an iron brew extra, I would drink it.
Oh yeah. The extras are tasty.
Alright. I actually think about it. I don't know what's new with me really. It's the same old, same old. Oh, I like to keep it.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of have to like think, what would he do?
I hit the gym 4 times a week. Fucking same old fucking diet plans. That's fucking it. Lack of nights out despite lockdown ending is a bit of a bummer, but what you can do about that with everybody's different working patterns and shit like that. But I think, speaking of which, I might as well go along with it, seeing now as it's Sobertober. I'm gonna do that this month. Just...
I was intending and trying that, and then I went out for the football and just like subconsciously had pints, and I was like, oh fuck, I broke it. I went out the drain on the 3rd, I think it was. Alright, it's a great thing, yeah.
Why?
I think some people did sober September as well.
Thinking about it, by the time Sobertober ends, it'll be coming up on your birthday, so that'll be a fucking madness of a night. Going from an entire month without drinking to getting slaughtered.
Oh. Absolutely.
My liver's gonna fucking kill me. But aye, that's been myself.
Yeah.
Last couple of months.
Should we move on to the first topic then?
Aye. Some things we watched throughout these past few months that we haven't got to speak about, seeing as we were on hiatus. I'll start with something I rewatched and then currently I'm watching through fresh, being The Walking Dead. So I went to rewatch that just because it was all on Disney Plus. Stuck on the first episode, which by the way is a phenomenal pilot for a series. It gets the tone of the series down, gets the characters right, very comic accurate, I would say, for what would be known to deviate from the comics later on down the line. But caught up with it. Only took us about, I think, 2.5 weeks. My mom joined me after the second episode in the rewatch. We caught up to season 9, of which I hadn't watched. And I've got to say, season 9 was banging. It was a good season. Season 10 as well was pretty good. So was 11 that's currently coming out. It's been pretty good, which is the final season of it actually. It's because of the stuff I know about comics. It's nice seeing things align with it, but also weird seeing a lot of deviations.
That's what I really enjoyed about it as well. Like
God.
Walking Dead's like fantastic, and I stopped after a certain point. Kind of dropped it, and I do have that intention, is what you're doing, rewatching it from the start and then catching up to where I last was and finishing it, since it's on its last couple episodes or whatever.
Aye. But actually, I heard recently that there's going to be a film, and apparently that's been announced for 3 years now. It's like
Yeah.
And like 3 years ago, it was announced. I was like, oh, it's like, what are they going to do with that? But currently, I actually finished, caught up to Walking Dead as well. That's the thing. Now I've started my wee journey of Fear the Walking Dead, which is like the spin-off that AMC has done. Which is okay. I don't think it carries the same charisma as The Walking Dead does, or at least not yet, in my opinion. But I need to watch that a bit more and see what that's like. But yeah, that's my first tidbit that I rewatched throughout these past few months.
Mm-hmm. Mine's was, I can't remember when I started it. I think it was a while back, but it took me ages to sort of get through it because I'd watch a couple episodes every now and again, and then maybe like a week or two not watching it. But New Girl, that show with what's her name, Zoe Best Channel, or how you pronounce her name. Yes, I finished that, and I originally picked it up because there was the crossover episode in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, watching it during Brooklyn Nine-Nine's episode, I was like, oh, I'll really give that a watch. And it's quite a weird comedy, quite a weird show. I do kind of like it. Like, they all kind of bounce off each other quite well as characters. But once you get used to that, it's like it's fairly decent. And I mind waiting for ages. Like, as the seasons went by, I'm like, where's this episode? How long do I have to wait? And I mind just when it finally came out, I was like, spat out my drink. They're fucking finally. But yeah, I finished that, and it was a really good watch. Decent ending, decent solid ending. So nice comedy. 8-minute episodes.
Aye. Sounds good. I think I only watched like half of the first episode. I might have to back to it at one point. To be fair, I watched half an episode when I was downstairs at one point because my mom had shite on the TV, so I was like, I'll just stick it on my phone. And I was barely paying attention to it because I was trying to eat food. I'll need to revisit that at another point. But second thing I'll bring up, I've just realised I was gonna talk about the two shows that we both watched actually.
Yes.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and also Loki. However, I've bundled them together because they're MCU shows and we watched it.
Yeah.
But there's also a third that I've got to add on to it now, seeing as it's just finished, called What If. So it finished on Wednesday, so literally yesterday. And the Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was really good. Had a lot of good themes to think about. Generally good choreography and some scenes. I think we both quite enjoyed it. There's a lot of hate for John Walker. I mind that.
God, yeah, that was a thing.
That was a massive thing. I think
great.
I really liked him. I felt he was sympathetic, but understandable to be hated at the same time. However, the funniest thing to come out of it, and you would always mention it, is that whenever he wore the fucking helmet, he looked like the guy from Up. The old guy.
He did.
But Falcon and the Winter Soldier, while good, I think it is my least favourite MCU show so far.
Yeah, it was a very good show. I'm on the same boat. Like, WandaVision was just spectacular.
Yeah.
Loki just hit like.
Yeah, Loki. Like I'll need to give it like another rewatch because I did the same with WandaVision, getting a rewatch with it with my mom because she liked it. So maybe when I watch Loki again, I'll even like adjust my ranking of having it above WandaVision because that show was spectacular. It really delved into the character of Loki, really like fleshed him out, and it really did delve upon his narcissism in a very unpredictable way. That's all I'll say about that. But those who've watched know what I mean by that. Naughty
Yeah.
Loki. Naughty. Bad. But Loki was brilliant. But What If, I think, top was the cherry on top of all the MC shows so far, because it would have. I honestly think it's one of those shows that would have been better if it was live action, but because of budget and budget and stuff like that, it wouldn't work. But also because the style they went for was a little too uncanny valley for me. Like faces of each of the actors they were trying to mold after looked. I don't know. It was a bit off. The animation at times is pretty good. I liked when a lot of the effects they use, like whenever smoke comes up, it's not 3D at all. It's always like 2D animated, I believe. A lot of like the laser beams and stuff as well tend to be 2D in that. But just the core premise of the show is really interesting, and I can't spoil much with it. But all I can say is it's creative. Each episode has its own agenda, and the last few episodes really connect a viewer. I would imagine, and I can't wait for season 2. I do think it, even with the drawbacks of what I think is the style of it, I think if it was more stylized, a bit more cartoony, it would have been better off, maybe. But like Spider-Verse almost. But at the same time, those drawbacks I don't think take away from it being the best MCU show in my opinion. But yeah, those are the 3 shows that 2 of them of which you've watched, and third one recently I've finished, and I think it's phenomenal. So that's part of something I've done. So that's my second second, third, and fourth tidbit, really. But
I've seen like a couple screenshots and stuff from What If, like typically on the days that they go out, they start trending, and there's some stuff that looks quite good. And I think one of the biggest talking points with it, non-spoiler wise, obviously, is Chadwick Boseman.
Yes,
which is very sad, touching.
it is. It's essentially his last released work, I believe.
Yes. In terms of, what's it next? Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, which is, I believe, coming out for Christmas, and I think it's actually Christmas based.
Ooh.
I'm looking forward to it. I always love a bit of maybe not the actor so much. He's been controversial. Something Jenner, can't mind his name, but the character Hawkeye himself has always been probably my favorite Avenger. Always liked him. I don't know if I suppose if you count Spider-Man, he's my favorite Avenger. I don't like looking at Spider-Man and saying he's an Avenger, because in the comics he's always like pushed himself away from that. And in Homecoming, he sort of went, "Nah, I'm not going to be an Avenger." And then in Infinity War, he's sort of been like, "Oh, I'm an Avenger now." It's like that was a bit of a twist, like a fucking 5-second twist. But Hawkeye, I really enjoy Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
So next on my list, I'll move this on. I've kind of paired them together: Wolf of Wall Street and Inglourious Bastards. Probably the reason I sort of pair them together is they're kind of 2 sort of giants, I guess, in the cinema world. 2 very loved films by Martin and Clinton.
Yes.
And like with both of them, there's so many of their works I just haven't seen. Like I think genuinely the first Quentin film I seen was the Once Upon a Time Hollywood, which is a lot of people will hear that and they'll be, "Yeah, watch the rest. I need to see them," and I'll get to them. They're on my long list.
Yeah, like he's a really good director. Like, however, he's always got that fucking rumor about him that he's obsessed with feet.
Oh my Christ!
Oh, that's just really funny to me. It's like Dan Schneider from Nickelodeon, the guy that was in charge of iCarly and like Drake and Josh. He's also obsessed with feet, but it's worse because he's dealing with minors.
Yeah, very odd. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, I think I watched first out of these 2. Yeah, it's such a phenomenal film, start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if I would rewatch it for a while because it is quite a long film as well.
I have trouble trying to get to rewatch it myself, but when I come to maybe it's because of my love for Inglourious Basterds. That's quite a long film as well.
That was magic.
That's one that like I wanted to rewatch within a couple of months. Weird.
Yeah, because we watched that together.
Yeah.
You would tell me to get around to it as well, and then oh yeah, I'll watch it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were watching, I'm sat there thinking, because I don't really know much about this at all, aside from this kind of, like I'd seen maybe the odd scene,
like
the internet.
Oh, the Jew hunter, fucking eating the creme, whatever it was, the pastry, the French pastry, the creme. It's like, but don't wait for the cream. That compilation, that was amazing.
Yeah, character wise, it's all good, and throughout it, there was a point where it's like, is this kind of based off like fiction or non-fiction? Like, what were they going for here? I'm sort of thinking, and rather than ask you anything during it, I was like,
yeah, there's a plot point near the end that sort of answers that question.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, really, really glad I watched that, both of them, and yeah, I'm sure I'll get around to their other films eventually.
I think we've watched the same amount of Quentin Tarantino films, but you watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I've watched Django Unchained.
Yeah.
It is also a good film, actually. I need to rewatch that. It's a Western. They're good films. I think the only Martin Scorsese film I've actually seen is Wolf of Wall Street.
I can't remember what the other one I want to see the most.
Irishman.
Irishman's one. Goodfellas.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! No, that's a lie. I've seen quite a bit of Shutter Island. He's done Shutter Island, I think. Did he? Yeah, he did Shutter Island. Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like a thriller. I didn't know that. And for months, I've been meaning to rewatch that because I don't really remember what happens in it. And I knew it was coming off Netflix, and I just let it come off, and I didn't watch it because I'm a weirdo like that. But yeah, Gangs of New York. That's another one I was trying to watch. He did. Did he do Shark Tale? No, he was in Shark Tale, wasn't he?
Just in that. Yeah.
He was the pufferfish, wasn't he? God damn, that film is terrible. Why did I even bring it up?
Oh god.
It's like, at least everybody knows it's bad. Film actually scares me. Aye.
Yeah, what else you watched?
So, you know me, you know how I love stylized animation. So, there was a Netflix dropped film called, I can never mind if it's one way or the other, but The Machines versus the Mitchells. Or The Mitchells versus the Machines, but basically, it's a wholesome film. It's an animated film. It's done by the same folks that did Spider-Verse, so it is very stylized. And I really enjoyed it because you get like mixed messages with the film. If you don't really want me spoiling it, I'll just like sort of like, I mean to the viewers, not you. You'll never fucking watch it, but like the themes of the film aren't what necessarily you think they are from the trailer. You sort of think, oh, it's about a dad who's a technophobe, basically. He hates like his daughter having like all this stuff to do with technology. He wants her to have a real working job instead of being a video editor like she's wanting to go to college for. But the heart of the movie is neither you should be a technophobe and you should spend more time with your family, you should stop being around technology so much, and it's more or less about daughter's point of view of being like, oh, you should be all about my interests, it should all be about like what I love, but it's more about having a middle ground. I would say that's the core theme of the film that you learn. It's the middle ground. You need to spend time with the passions of your family as well as the family having the passions see through you as well. To share both things. Like fishing, the dad likes fishing, the daughter likes showing off her creative works. It is a very bizarre film. Like I'm saying all it has these themes, but they literally fight robots in the film. Funny robots. Oh, they're really funny. But yeah, it was actually a really good film. Really enjoyed it. There was some like moments where I'm like, oh, cringe, but it was like it didn't last too long. But yeah, that was a film I watched. I remember it was supposed to come out in cinemas, and it had a different name, in fact. But then Netflix was like, "No, if nobody wants to publish you, we will," which is normally what Netflix does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Cool.
Well, I suppose I'll mention another one of mine, which is quite a new film from last year, I think. Palm Springs. It's on Amazon Prime at the moment. I think it's a Prime original. I could be wrong. But that's a film that features Andy Samberg and I cannot remember her name, but the girl from How I Met Your Mother. She's in a few other things actually. Yeah. J.K. Simmons is in this too, by the way. Oh my god, he's very good. I actually love this film. I absolutely adore this film. The sort of the basis of it, the idea of it is this guy, right, who is played by Andy Samberg. I can't remember. Niles, fucking Niles. He's stuck in a loop. It's essentially Groundhog Day, right? He's stuck in this loop, and the loop takes place at a wedding. It kind of sort of starts off with just him getting drunk and just doing whatever, doing his usual shit, same day. But that whole idea of like Groundhog Day, I tend to love seeing in films or in TV episodes. You know, they do the specials like Supernatural.
Yeah.
And think of other TV shows that have done it off the top of my head. There definitely is a few. But yeah, it was really solid and really funny because the whole cast. Yeah, so yes, that's what I would suggest. It sounds interesting to anyone.
Wait, what?
If it sounds interesting to anyone.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
That's Gen Z humor, I'm sorry. It's not funny.
Old man.
I'm at this point, I'm pretty sure it's more people who are older than me that find it funny and have imposed on me more of it than actually younger people.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sounds good.
For J.K. Simmons alone, I would watch the film.
For J.K. Simmons alone, I would suggest Invincible.
Oh. Boy.
Never Amazon original series, which is done by Robert Kirkman, aka The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sounds good. Another one of mine would be.
You have.
What is it? Where is it? Ah, yes, a film that myself, you, and Ken went to go see, The Suicide Squad, which is, by the way, 100% the better reboot sequel to the first one. Like, no argument there. Story, development, characters, just everything. It's a beautiful film. I've seen one of the better. Like, it reminds me so much of a DC comic. Like one I've read, it's similar. Got the right amount of humor and sort of like villainy in it, darkness. There's a lot of plot threads in it that are introduced, or like Chekhov's guns, where you're like, oh, will that come up later? And it does. It works off. even small bits like there's a character introduction between what was it, Peacemaker and Bloodsport.
Yeah.
When they just before he meets Bloodsport meets Peacemaker, there's just a little uh tidbit that Amanda says, saying like, "Oh, your father used to be very mean to you when you were younger, and he trained you up, blah blah blah, and now you're skilled with every weapon." Then they go to meet Peacemaker with Bloodsport next to him, and she says the exact same thing that he said about Bloodsport, and he goes, "Why the bloody hells are you? Why is he here? You got me. We're the exact same," sort of stuff. And that's the joke. The joke there is that like there's so many DC comic characters that are exactly the same skill sets and shit like that. That's the joke. It's funny. It's also a joke on the first movie by having Deadshot, who's exactly like those characters, being skilled with a lot of weapons, pretty much all weapons. It's just there's very similar characters because there's so many characters in the comics that are pretty much the same with different designs, and that's why it's funny. It's a meta joke basically, and that like there's a lot of things like every character's fleshed out well, no characters left alone. The movie itself, the name Task Force X, it's nicknamed Suicide Squad. That comes into play very well. Like,
oh yeah,
the story itself, it's easy to understand. Although they try to spice it up at different points, James Gunn's really good at like setting that up. But overall, it's a bloody good film. I rewatched it recently, and I think it's better than the second watch.
The intro for this film as well. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
It plays perfectly. Yeah, it's such a good introduction to.
Is it not Johnny Cash?
I think awesome.
So it's some country song that just perfectly it plays out perfectly.
I can't quite remember. Yeah, best character though. Best character got to go to my man's Weasel.
I think Sebastian actually. Best character Sebastian. There's actually it's a good film when everybody's arguing which character's the best. Normally you have like a film and it's like, oh, which character's the best? Guardians of the Galaxy, oh, it's Groot. Groot's the best character. Rocket. Never normally any of the other characters. But with the Suicide Squad, it's either everybody's like, oh, the King Shark, he's the best character. Blah blah blah. So it's like, oh no, it's actually Weasel or it's bloody. There's so many of them that say they're the best character just because like how they're acted out. I would say, honestly, my least favorite of the Suicide Squad group would probably be Bloodsport.
Right.
Yeah. He's well developed and stuff, but I think I prefer the other characters. Just because they're so different. But yeah, that's the Suicide Squad. It's a really good film.
It's a good.
Probably my top 5 comic book films. But yeah. Got another from yourself.
So yeah, the other thing that I watched, the last thing that I actually finished since Christmas break is The Boys. So obviously after I finished New Girl, there's like a show to pick up, and I ended up picking up The Boys. They're like, I think they're like 50-minute episodes.
Yeah.
They're quite long episodes, but yeah, it's one of those shows that like everyone was chatting about for quite a while. And I mind hearing Jensen Ackles in season 3. I was like, oh, I need to get round to watching this now. And I had like no idea about what the show was at all. All I knew is that it featured superheroes, and air quoting, and that's kind of it. Superheroes that aren't like superheroes.
Sort of like a theme now, isn't it, with superheroes? So many films have come up recently where it's like they're not about the good guys, they're not super good. Like I could literally name you the Suicide Squad, Invincible, The Boys, Umbrella Academy, technically Joker, even though he's not really a superhero at all, but that's still dark.
Yeah.
Even Black Adam's coming out soon.
Hmm.
Definitely taking a tonal shift. For the better, I suppose. A lot of people really like more complicated, dark characters. That's why Wolverine's loved.
It's an incredible show.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I need to.
You will definitely. Once I sort of clocked on to what was happening, premise of was it with it, I was like, oh, I was drawn in. I kept watching it. Kept watching episodes, engrossed in the episodes. Like, you know how sometimes you can sort of stick something on, kind of glance at your phone every now and again, or pause it, grab a drink, or you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite like a oofed. And then season 2 as well, it picked up. Sort of, oh boy. I started that, finished it, and I am extremely excited for season 3. God damn.
Definitely my watch list.
Yeah. You got another?
Yes, I have Jujutsu Kaisen, which is something I watched with Ken recently, and it is an anime, and it's something that I have read initially, so it's like I wasn't going in fresh, and I knew what was going to happen exactly, but I was watching it again, and my god, it is such a visually beautiful show. It's one of these shows that's been made where every episode has like 10 out of 10 animation. You will watch more because like there's a lot of cliffhanger stuff. Just Ken really enjoyed it. He was asking me, "Oh, so when's the next episode?" I was like, "Ken, season's done." He's like, "No, when's it next? Is it weekly?" And I'm like, "Oh no. You're gonna have to wait until 2022, late 2022, I would imagine." There is a movie coming up for it, so I'm looking forward to that. But like the basic premise of it is about curses. It's really good, really brutal as well. Really fucking brutal. Makes you think sometimes as well. But yeah, it was a really good show. Can't wait to see the movie. Anything else from you?
Yeah, one last sort of thing. So after I finished The Boys, I was like, something new. Another show. I had a couple of things that are in my watch list. I ended up watching the pilot for Mr. Robot, which is it's actually a good pilot, but the show never like dragged me in. Like I feel like it's one of those shows that you have to watch quite a few episodes before you get like hooked on it. I did like the pilot, but I wasn't too bothered on following it up. Probably get round to it at some point. But I ended up picking up Lost. That's what I'm currently going through. I'm nearly finished season 1, so I've still got a lot to get through. I think they're like 40 odd minute long episodes, 45 ish. Uh, yeah, like so far it's been really interesting. It's a massively popular show from way back, and I know it's one that people have kind of been torn on the ending, or people just didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
But I'll be the judge for that. So get round to it. Yeah, that's the most recent thing. Has just Lost. My mind, like I knew about it for ages, and I literally had Lost the game on bloody the Wii.
Game.
There was a game. I think it was the Wii.
The Wii.
Yeah, I know.
On the Wii.
Or something like that. So I kind of knew bits of like the pilot. So when I did finally watch it, started there, I was like, oh yeah, these bits. The cast is good. This is very good so far. And aye, that's the last thing from me.
Nice. Well, that means we'll move on. Final topic. Today's been a short 2-topic podcast. It's just a we get together.
Yeah.
For the monthly podcasts. Because the next one, even though it's within the same month and it'll be released within this month, so not really monthly, but it'll be the Halloween podcast. But this topic is what we're looking forward to. And I'll start off again. This very simple Spider-Man No Way Home. Being that being coming out in December of this year. And there's a lot of leaks apparently. I haven't seen any of the leaks, but like there's a trailer that came out for it recently, but there's a lot revealed for it, which makes everybody stupendously hyped for it. It might be one of the biggest Marvel films, like probably like overshadow Endgame, even despite all the massive shit that happened in it. Just because there might be, you get the feeling there might be like multiversal shit involved or something like that. Like you definitely got a vibe to it because I think it's Peter's getting involved with Doctor Strange. So there's a lot of like wackiness to be had with that. I'm looking fucking forward to it.
Oh, big time, man.
Jesus Christ, it's gonna be massive. I just hope they don't overshadow Tom Holland's Peter. My only. It's supposed to be his. It's supposed to be his movies.
Aye, like he's the main one in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's on my list as well, but I've kind of added just the whole MCU sort of continuation, just where it goes. So the Spider-Man, of course, which I think both of us we've not watched the trailer, avoiding it, and by God was it difficult avoiding it. I think the only thing we have seen, the only thing I've seen is the bloody meme of
Hello, Peter.
It kept coming up on every social media. No matter where I went, it was just popping up, and I was like, "No, I need to go past."
Joe, is that you, Joe? Hello, Peter. That meme was ridiculous.
But yeah, that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yep.
Yeah. That, as we kind of mentioned earlier, show-wise, Hawkeye.
There's just all the MCU shows as well, like She-Hulk. I'm looking forward to She-Hulk. I want to know what the fuck they're doing with that. Is she gonna be a lawyer? Is she gonna be like a superhero lawyer, or is she just gonna get turned into, or what the fuck's gonna go on? I need to know. I want to see her in a courtroom in a lawyer, like in her like fancy skirt and suit, and like sit down and be like defending some fucking hero or something. Like as like in her Hulk form, not just like as a regular person. I want to see her in her Hulk form, like 7 feet tall, in a courtroom defending folk. That's what we all want to see, I'd imagine.
It's going to be glorious. Absolutely glorious. Even at the end of Loki, it was like Loki season 2. Oh.
Yeah, Loki season 2 is going to be mad as well. Whatever direction to go with it. Shang-Chi's currently out, we haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, been fucking mean. Goddamn.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's a really, really good film. Like the ratings for higher than Endgame and Infinity War, which like gives me a lot of hope for the film. Yeah. Looking forward to the future of MCU. Well, not veering too off topic with comic book films. I've got Venom 2 in my list as well, which comes out this month. Just because it's what's it called again? Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost upset they didn't call it Maximum Carnage, but I suppose that's for maybe another film or something else. But Let There Be Carnage is a really good title. I do like that. Looking forward to that one. It's directed by Andy Serkis instead of like the other director. I think that the first film. Also shorter. I'm pretty sure it's a half an hour shorter than the first film. A lot of people are complaining about that, which tells me that a lot of people just can't like. A lot of movies were an hour and a half. They don't. They all don't need to be 2 hours long. 2.5 hours long. Ridiculous.
Finally got me to watch the Venom.
The first one.
First one.
It was almost like a first watch for me as well because I got distracted so many times watching it the first time. I got distracted at a few points during this rewatch as well, to be fair, but
yeah,
that's what it is like watching at home though.
You kind of get a lot more engrossed when you're in the cinema.
Yeah.
In that darkness, so, and it's like that loud. You know?
Yeah.
It's super easy to glance at your phone if you're able to. Cinema, you're kind of like, get my phone out. Then that's a bright light that fucking.
I've always been like that since I was like young, because like there'd be movies that I am interested in watching, and I was watching it, and I'll get like an hour in, and I'll just switch it off and do something else or watch something else. And I mind my family used to always be annoyed at that, so it's not even like I'm in my own head with it thing. It's just always been natural for me to get distracted. That's why cinema's always easier, because you're literally forced to like stay kaput, and you've paid for it. You've put aside your time to do it. You're at a place. Maybe the mind's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's sit down and do that. I know a lot of people don't actually like the cinema just because of how like just randos can be. Which is fair enough.
Oh, Christ, what was it? Suicide Squad?
Yeah, the bunch of kids in the front. It's like every time, like, oh my god. Yes, so there was a group of kids that came in, and one of them did the famous TikTok thing where you hear kids in the cinema saying random shit like, you know, and my god, I was laughing off my head. Ken looked like he was about to go snap their necks, to be fair. I mean, there's a few times after where I felt like that because they just wouldn't fucking shut up. They weren't nearly as bad throughout the entirety of the film as some previous times have been there, but like they're still bad. Not enough to disturb the film, like, but 9.
Alright, it is.
Hi.
What else I'm looking forward to?
Well,
that's actually already out. Is Lucifer's finale. I can't remember if it's. I think it's like a 2-part season where they put out like the whole first half, which was phenomenal, and then they dropped it the second half or the final season, whatever you want to call it. Dropped that a couple weeks ago now. Good lord. But I still need to get around to watching that. I still need to sort out a night where I just blast the whole thing. Get like some fat scran. Just sit back.
Christ, I miss the days I would be able to do that. I remember when I was like fucking 15, I binged like 4 seasons of Trailer Park Boys of Hot Wings. Those were the very disgusting fat days.
Disgusting.
Now I can barely like sit for an episode of something because I finish my food and I'm done, and I'm like, I want to do something physical now. I'm on to a stage where I just can't watch shit. Still.
But this is the actual finale. Like, there's no more after this.
Aye.
The end. And God, just like from that last mid-season finale, just thinking like, what the fuck? Because it just throughout the whole thing, it's just escalated and escalated and escalated. Each finale, and you're like, fucking
Supernatural, like, innit?
Yeah.
And Supernatural was like, alright, how do we one up ourselves after God? This. Oh, get to the writing room.
Aye. So, that I am looking forward to that. Once I finally get round to sorting a day, that will be glorious.
Yeah.
It's a show I've loved since it fucking first came out.
Shame I couldn't get into it. I remember watching the first season. I just couldn't get into it.
Each season's quite different as well. The first season's quite a lot more.
That's because there's different writers and different directors after a while, and different studios actually. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because eventually it shifted to like Amazon, didn't it? And then it shifted to Netflix.
Yes, it did.
So it's had a lot of like production problems, at least.
Aye.
But a lot of shows are not shy to that. Sorry, what?
I think that happened at the same time as bloody Brooklyn Nine-Nine got dropped, and that's another thing I need to fucking watch. I'm pretty sure the finale for that's come out.
I think I'm a season or two behind that.
And that's fully finished. But yeah, both Lucifer and Brooklyn Nine-Nine got dropped same time and picked up by shows.
Nice.
Aye. Yeah, that. Both of them.
That's wild. Like, there is so many shows that get dropped so easily, or at least change studios. Like, I was speaking to you lately about the Cramped twins. That was a show that apparently changed studios halfway through, and the style of the show stayed the same, but apparently the writing of it got like just terrible. It like went under the what's the effect called again? It's like the flandering, isn't it? Flanderization, which is the act of taking a single, often minor action or trait of a character within a work and exaggerating it more and more over time until it completely, becomes the sole factor of that character. A lot of shows, especially like animated stuff, if they go on too long, like The Simpsons, where flanderization comes from. Lisa Simpson used to act to be a sophisticated and complex child character. She's smart, but she's still a child. But now she's like a aggressive know-it-all that's complaining all the time. Bart, who used to be a little more sympathetic, who is still just a complete jerk. And Homer, who was a family man, who's basically become pure Griffin. Homer J. And Marge, who, honestly, I feel sorry for the actress now. Her voice actress, she just can't speak. Can't do that voice anymore. No, if you listen to any of the clips of her recently, she sounds like this.
She's turned into one of the fucking...
Turned into her ma.
God.
But, no, a lot of shows undergo this stuff, and it can heavily affect them if they can't get the same directors and writers back. It will completely change the set of a show. That's why Justice League suffered so much. Actually, because of the director change from Zack Snyder, and now the people at the Snyder cut. Sorry, I've went off topic here. I just thought it was an interesting point.
Yeah.
Is it me again?
Yes, it is. What else?
Last Night in Soho. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have not.
It is just instantly I'm interested in it because it's a Edgar Wright film. Very, very good director. He's the one that done. I hope you haven't forgotten who he is again. I've mentioned him so many times. He's the one that does Shaun of the Dead and Baby Driver and all that. But he's doing this film called Last Night in Soho, and it is a horror / psychological horror. And I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And the very basic plot of it is a fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. However, everything is not as glamorous as it seems to be. And I checked the cast list, and Matt Smith is in it. So that looks promising. It looks really promising.
Yeah.
And sounds interesting. And I think the main character is Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she was in, was it Queen's Gambit?
Yeah, that's her. That's her indeed.
Yeah, she's going to be in this.
Very good.
I'm looking forward to it. At the end of this month, 29th October. I'll I might go to the cinema to see that. Maybe if anybody else interesting I know. I know if Eddie was in Venice, me and him to go see it.
Oh.
Was really interesting. Alas, another one from yourself?
Yes, I am hella looking forward to more gigs, just future gigs. After all these lockdowns and that, so many bands have just delayed stuff. You know, nobody's really been playing. But this past couple months, shit's been back, and God, seeing the sheer amount of gigs going on that are booked now for Glasgow, and they'll probably go ahead. Because obviously I've seen Bring Me There, as I mentioned, in Glasgow, which is mad. And then after that, there was like post gig blues. It's like, oh, I want to go back. So I started looking on Ticketmaster. Started going through like the venues in Glasgow, see what big bands are coming up soon. And oh man, in November there's so fucking many going on. Trivium's playing soon. That's coming up. I can't mind who the support is for that. There's Sleep Token is playing with Static Dress, which is going to be phenomenal. Gonna try and get down for that. I think literally the day beside it, it's like a fucking God, who is it? Every Time I Die, quite possibly. Later on in November, I'll be going to see Monolord. There's just so many. Even next year, we'll probably get some festivals back, like Belladrum.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully go to download, depending on finances and not. Already got tickets for Architects, which I've been dying to see for so long. But fucking hell. Yeah, I'm just seeing all these gigs coming up, and I need to get to them. I need to go. Such a nice feeling having them back. Even local ones, like I've been to a couple local ones, and there's one tomorrow. One tomorrow, Tooth and Claw.
Oh, there is.
Which will be quite mad. You know how we were talking about Sober October?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing
Mikey's Line, isn't it?
Yeah, with Mikey's Line. So if you buy a non-alcoholic drink, 20% of it will go to Mikey's
Line. Nice.
Right, quite a selection of non-alcoholic drinks, don't
they? They've got like a rum. They've got like they've got the alcohol-free Copperberg, and they've got some I think Sun Miguel 0% as well.
Yeah. Loud music, loud noises. I like. You got one more thing that you're looking forward to?
I would just say games in general that I'm looking forward to, actually. A few of them. Like, I think at the last PlayStation showcase, two Marvel games got announced and showed some teaser trailers, I'd say. One for Spider-Man 2, which has Miles and Peter, both in their Spider-Man suits, catting about beating villains. Or criminals, actually. But initially you think, oh, it's Electro that's there doing stuff and blah blah blah. But you hear a voiceover, and it sounds eerily like Kraven the Hunter. I'm assuming, oh, is that guy in the alleyway? Is that Kraven the Hunter? Is that going to be Kraven the Hunter? Because I like Kraven the Hunter. Dude, I think he's getting his own Sony film as well. Don't know who's going to play him, but I think he will be in the game. But the reveal of the trailer is actually Venom Venom's gonna be in the game. I thought I was super hype. I'm looking forward to that because the past 2 games that they did, Insomniac did, were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and it's gonna come out in 2023, I believe. And to say, but there was a trailer not too long after as well, and it's just this guy in a bar with everybody else around them they're beating up. I was like, what's going on here? And then zooms in on this guy's forearm in his hand, and just it schnicks, and there you go. There's 3 blades instantaneously alerting you to the fact that it's Wolverine, and that's all you need to know when you see that trailer. That's all you need to grab everybody's attention. You don't need some cool ass trailer. It was such a simple 30-second odd trailer, and the only thing that lets you know that it's Wolverine is the snicked of his hands with the blades coming out, and everybody was just hyped off that. And I think it was another 2022, 2023 release by Insomniac as well, which gives me a lot of hope for it being good. So those are 2 games I'm looking forward to. There's also the Demon Slayer game that's coming out this month, based off the popular anime, done by CyberConnect 2, which have done a lot of the games I really like. They're amazing at doing visuals. It always visually looks perfect. And I'm a big, massive fan of fighting games, so I'm going to get that platinumed immediately and go into ranked.
Of course.
It was out on the 13th, which is 7 days from now, no, 6 days from now.
A lot of games coming out this month.
Yeah, there's Battlefield's not this month, but Back for Blood.
Battlefield is no, it's November, is it?
Yeah, I think the open beta is still occurring. What is it? I know the new Pokemon game's this month as well, I think, or is it November? There's another game I'm looking forward to. I say new Pokemon game, it's the remaster of Diamond and Pearl. Yeah. Be a lot of fun with that.
Last thing I'm looking forward to is also a couple games. Although I've not been gaming this past couple months, apart from the odd thing. There are some games I am looking forward to playing eventually when I'm actually in the mood and I get down to it. Far Cry 6, which is out tomorrow. That's another one this month. I've loved the Far Cry series. I never got the DLC for 5. And I think there was another thing I can't remember what it was called. But that's a series I've enjoyed, and this one looks really good because it's got can't even remember his name.
The guy was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, guy that plays Gus.
Yeah.
I think he's the villain, the main sort of villain of this game. Gustavo Fring. Don't know why I can't remember his. Played by Giancarlo. But yeah, him. That looks good. Since I'm not super into gaming at the moment, I'll wait until that goes down at a decent price. Far Cry's typically do. We'll get round to that eventually. Back for Blood, as you mentioned. That's one that I'll eventually get. Because yeah, I think so a lot of people are kind of torn on whether it'll be decent or not. But I'm quite interested in it. And I think there was a lot of gameplay out for it. And even that I've watched a bit, and it's quite fun. And I think main game, Tina's Wonderlands. That intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, when they announced it, it sounded like it was going to be a lot more sort of Dungeons and Dragons based.
Mechanics wise.
Yeah, mechanics wise.
I was looking forward to that now. It might still have a side mode.
Yeah.
Because there was a bit in the trailer that sort of made it seem like there was more than just the overworld.
Intrigued to see what they do, because Borderlands as a series is probably my favourite. I platinumed Borderlands 1, Platinum 2, Platinum 3, both PS4 and PS5. So I reckon I'll probably do this. Well, yeah, I'm just need to see more. You can pre-order it as well, so I think there's a date when it's coming out.
Sometimes there are 2 BCs, like Cyberpunk was.
25th of March 2022. Apparently is the date. Yeah, that's the date. Oh boy. Glorious. But we'll see how that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of promising stuff coming up. Maybe post-lockdown, have a lot to look forward to.
Life returns.
Yes.
What?
You next month, you'll be turning 24?
I will be.
And I'll be turning 22 the month after. Entire year like that, gone. Passing so fast.
It moves quickly.
It does. And I believe that is us wrapped up. Is there anything else you want to say?
Thank you for listening. Yeah, welcome back. We'll be doing the Halloween episode next.
Yes.
It'll be spooky.
Will be spectacular. Thank you for listening. This was me, Cade Boy, and Dino here. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll listen to the next episode of Pint Podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.